Soy milk is one of my favorite ingredients to make broths with, and while that might seem a little odd at first, using milk to make a broth or a soup is actually not all that uncommon. You have your cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, cream of anything. You've got vichyssoise that uses cream of it. Eastern Europeans have used straight up milk as a base for soups across a variety of countries. So using soy milk as a base might not actually seem all that strange. So using this, you can achieve a very nice protein-rich creaminess that you could get from regular milk, but this one would happen to be more accessible to a lot more Asian people. So, because of lactose intolerance. So we're gonna go ahead and use this as a base today. And yeah, it's surprisingly easy so long as you follow a few steps. So let's get started. When making any kind of stock with a plant-based ingredient, you're pretty much just going against certain flavor profiles, trying to build upon its the qualities that are in here already. Very neutral, but still has that a vegetal sweetness, kind of like that taste that you get from beans and nuts. It's still very much like a plant milk. And so you can kind of build off of that by adding any sorts of plant-based umami sources, such as Yondu, or you have these, this is pretty much a mushroom answer to Maggi cubes or chicken bouillon. It's just called mushroom seasoning. It's dehydrated mushroom base. Another thing that soy milk goes really well with is even more sources of nut oils or further creaminess in that way. So I have here some sesame paste with peanut, which we'll use as well, but you can use tahini or perhaps an unsweetened peanut butter. If you wanted to use that, you could totally do that as well. We'll just do a couple of cups of this, a few cups of this to start. The only thing that I would watch out for, as with using any milk for a soup, is your acidity levels. Much like regular milk, soy milk will curdle and get chunky and a little bit gross if you add too much acid to it while it's cooking. That's actually how you make tofu, that's how you make cheese. The process is oddly similar. So let's go over here and we'll get going with this. So we'll do a tablespoon, half a tablespoon first. It's the same when I'm making, for example, congee using oats instead of rice, because these flavors have that they lean on the sweeter side. It's just a little bit of extra finessing to get it into a savory territory, so that it you're not counteracting the sweetness, but you're kind of just building on top of it, so that comes from a more nuanced place in the salty side. It's hard to explain, but I should explain it. I'll figure that out later. Already it's pretty good. This actually works very well together. So I'm gonna use a little bit more. And we're gonna add a little bit of the tahini and the peanut for just to further the richness of it. And then we'll add in some spices. So as it warms up, the spices have a chance to infuse in with the broth itself. And again, because you're not working with meat of any kind and everything is pretty much safe to consume already, it's a very easy and quick recipe to do. Okay, so as that heats up, the paste will dissolve in, and let's get some spices now. Once again, using our tea strainer, so it makes it just easier to remove everything once you're done, especially the lemongrass and the coriander. So a couple of star anise, a tablespoon of coriander, and say same amount of lemongrass. The black cardamom you could just put in there if you wanted, because these are so big, it's easy to just pluck them out. So paying attention now, once things get a little hot, you'll notice that, you're already starting to see some, even without any acid in here, you'll notice that some curds might start to form. So If you can help it, don't let it get to boiling temperature. Just let it keep at like a nice smoky steepness. I would say like no hotter than 150 degrees. We're gonna add a little bit of some aromatics now. Some Scallion Whites from another video. So yeah, don't ever let these go to waste. These are great for soups and stocks and stuff. Even if they've got the gnarly roots on them, these are all clean. So you can just put them right in. Smash a couple pieces of garlic. And anytime I'm doing something where I don't have to worry about like the ginger skins because the ginger is getting taken out, that's when I use these like annoying little like nubby pieces, because I can just pop them right in and it won't matter, because normally these pieces would be turned into waste anyway. So again, not letting it come to a boil, but still letting it get hot enough that you can steep and absorb all the flavors and the aromas of all of the ingredients in there. How do you eat something like this? You can use it for noodles, you can use it for dumplings. Yum. It's already really good. We're going to eat we're gonna do it with noodles. Oh, so these are, allegedly these are bamboo pressed noodles. And that's a thing where a guy would sit on this like big bamboo, this long bamboo like trunk, and would sit on it and would bounce on this trunk up and down as the trunk would like knead the dough. That's what they say these are. I don't know. I just bought it because I just really like the box, so we're just gonna test it out. But yeah, look how pretty this box is. You can buy boxes of noodles like this. Yeah, these are stunningly gorgeous. Look at these. Yeah, these are really pretty. And I just bought these at the my local Asian grocery store. So I didn't have to order these or anything. I just saw these on the shelf. So we're gonna use these. Probably have a very short cooking time. The instructions are in Chinese. I cannot read this. So we're gonna say that took about 4 minutes? 4 to 5 minutes for these noodles. They're so like delicate and beautiful. I think they will go very, very nicely with a light soup. Straining not only gets out like the spices and like the, you know, scallion bits and stuff, but it also takes out any of the parts that have like solidified and curdled, making sure that you've got a nice like smooth broth still. Like part of me would be like, okay, just this white on white is kind of beautiful on its own. We can add a little garnish with some scallions. And there you have it. Creamy, savory, satisfying. Not what you would expect, but still like very, very good. I like highly recommend you guys try this. The noodles are gorgeous in this. Except what's not pretty is my chopstick skills. It's always shocking how much it works as a noodle broth, because you're thinking, oh, it's milk or it's soy milk. It's no surprise that it's like a very common thing that you see in a lot of ramen shops in Japan. They will use soy milk as a base for ramen broth. And yeah, using it for regular noodles or pasta, I think people just should do this more. Oh, that's so nice. So yeah, I did use this for noodles, but honestly, this would be great as a very light sipping broth, or like a base for some dumplings, or even, I might save this for another video, but fish soup cooked in soy milk, that's also like a really good thing too. So if you wanna like poach any kind of like white-fleshed fish, that's really hard to say. In this, that would work just stunningly well. Yeah, just add soy milk to your rotation for like broths and soups. You won't regret it.